advertising. The show was founded on WMSKOnRadio.com. Can't promote your lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or personal practice. These shows offer entertainment and thanks for listening.
Yeah, I heard a lot about this. I actually watched it.
All right, bro, you take care of him. I ain't no damn about all that. Oh, yeah, I got it, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Blue, September Heather, Peter Don. Jackie Blue, September Heather, Peter Don. Jackie Blue, September Heather, Peter Don. Jackie Blue, September Heather, Peter Don.
All right, y'all, welcome back. We've been gone for a couple weeks. Holidays. And just don't want to come in, no. But we are back. You're on WMSK Online Radio, home of the show, under the morning show with Between Friends. With me, Peter Don, September Heather, and Jackie Brand.
Yeah, I don't even care.
But I was gonna ask y'all what y'all did this weekend. But
Last couple weekends.
I don't care.
Yeah, how about
anymore.
that?
I don't care anymore.
I'm playing
Because I always ask and y'all don't do nothing. Or you're secretive. You don't know what I did. You don't never say. So guess what? You try something new. I'm not asking no more.
Okay.
I don't give a shit what you did for the weekend. As long as you're still here, you're alive. Okay, whatever you did, that's your business. I don't care. But
Excellent. That's
I
correct.
will say this. I definitely didn't miss y'all ugly mugs. I looked at a lot of beautiful things since the last time I seen y'all. So now to look at y'all again, might take some more time.
Whatever.
But so let's run this one time real quick, okay? Focus Movers. Affordable movie rates, fast and reliable service. Free movie quotes, commercial and residential, local and long distance. Last second and emergency moves, locally owned and operated 24-hour call center. Call today, 443-506-7905 or book online, focusmovers.com. Woohoo! One down. 3 to go.
Read them, Ted.
I don't want to read all of them right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have my glass. I ain't got my glass. I'm a stutterer when talking about it. What's terrible?
Use your glasses to read. Not every Catholic can read.
So I feel like
Even worse without your glasses.
I'm like 10 pounds heavier.
Wow. Yeah, wow. You know.
I've been at cookouts all weekend. When I say all weekend, I mean since Friday I've been out. Like I went out Friday night. Saturday I went to 2 cookouts. Shout out to my homeboy Dave, it was his birthday. Cookout with his twin brother. And then my daughter had a cookout, which I was proud of her. Because she put her own little cookout together, her and her friend. Put their little cookout together. Now, I don't normally talk about people's food, but I'm talking about this dude that was on the grill real quick. So everybody's waiting for these, for the food. Like he had just started cooking whatever. I guess he might have felt a little rushed. Because it was a little line in front of the grill. So my son come back to the table with a hamburger. And I'm looking at the burger, I'm like, oh, son. Don't eat that. I said, what? I said, look at it. Just look at it. It was really, like, not medium well, not even medium. It was like seared on both sides and then put on the bread.
Oh gosh.
Like, and then it was burnt. So I'm thinking like, dude, your charcoal too hot right now.
Yeah.
You gotta let that, simmer down a little bit before you throw these burgers on it, because you ready to give everybody a cookout food for
Right. And heartburn.
and diarrhea, upset stomach, all that.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking like, and then my other daughter, she already had peeped it. Like, she had already peeped it. My oldest daughter, she had already peeped the burgers. It was like, I'm like, So needless to say, but I was still proud of my daughter. She put it together. It was nice. She had a little DJ there.
Okay.
Other than the burgers, I don't know what the other food was like, because after I seen the burger, I'm like, I'm not eating. That's just me. I'm not.
Well, who fixed the food though? Charmaine?
I don't know who fixed the food. I just know who was on the grill.
You can make the food.
Which the cookout, like, I know the chicken. She bought the chicken from the store.
Okay.
So she went to Hip Hop and got the chicken. I don't even like their chicken, so I ain't even know Hip Hop chicken. I don't like their chicken.
Okay.
I think it's crack on it or something. I don't know what it is. That white shit, powdery substance
Just one of them.
on the chicken. I don't know what it is.
It's very
I don't like it.
good. Okay. That's your way.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Who said lemon and chicken go together?
Is it lemon pepper? What is lemon pepper?
Who said lemon and chicken go together anyway?
I like lemon pepper chicken.
No.
Well, that's what he said. Anyway. You should have ate something. You shouldn't have sat there and didn't eat anything.
No, I knew I was going out after that. So we went bowling.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't
I
come. We went bowling.
I missed it.
After the two cookouts, I went bowling. I had a pretty good Saturday. Like,
But he asked us about our weekend. He wasn't arguing about
yeah, I'm gonna tell you about my weekend because I always do stuff. Y'all niggas don't never had none. I say, what did y'all do this weekend? Right, none of my business. So I ain't gonna ask you no more. I already know what you do, Tatiana, on the weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, we're bowling.
Bowling.
He said bowling.
All right, so we went bowling. This is the best part of the day. We go bowling, 6 girls, 5 guys. So we do girl against the guys.
Okay.
Now let me give a shout out to my pops who showed up. Bad back, bad knees, bad feet, everything bad. With his bowling ball. He's a professional. He has 2 balls. I think he had 2 balls.
Okay.
Sat there, polished his bowling balls for about 10 minutes. While everybody, putting the name in the school board and all that. My man bowled like a 94.
But he didn't a 90 because we was tired.
Yeah. He had 2 bowling balls, his own shoes.
And his own shoes.
His own shoes, a hand
A
thing.
whole brick, a
The
glove.
whole, he had a whole, I'm a pro bowler setup.
You know they had championships bowling this week, and I guess he got inspired.
Nah, and then he turned around and he bowled a 90.
He used to be on the lead.
He was absolutely no help, but we did win.
I would like to
The fellas did win.
by 6 points.
We beat them by 7 pins,
6.
but they had an extra person too. They had 6 people, we only had 5.
But they had all the professionals.
so let's-
they
let-
had
let's-
all the
Let's knock out,
That's okay.
let's
I was
knock
there.
out one of their
That's-
people.
that's
It wouldn't even have
what
been
it
a
was.
close game.
I wasn't there.
That's
And
what-
who was a professional?
You had Wayne.
Wayne was not a professional. Wayne had beginner's
Negro
luck.
was a professional, okay?
Curving the ball.
Wow, spinning it, put his leg all behind his back, like he was
Oh,
showing
yeah.
off. Yeah, he
He
was
wasn't
showing off.
professional.
He was showing off. So I said to
What
her,
had
I
happened
said,
was,
you think he could go like that? She was like, yeah.
what had happened was basically
A
Y'all lost.
professional.
y'all lost. After
Hey,
all the
y'all
shit you saw, you lost.
Whatever.
Rematch
And
one day.
Y'all had a
rematch.
handicap because y'all had an extra person. We gave y'all a handicap, and that didn't help.
But you know what? Even with all the professionals, they should have beat us by more. They only
Yeah.
beat us by 6 points. They had a whole team
Yeah,
of
that
professionals.
wasn't no-
Knock
That
off
wasn't
one-
no-
blowout.
that
knock
wasn't no
off-
blowout. 6
Knock
points.
off one person's points. Knock off your 90. Then we would have beat you by 96.
No.
Right, exactly.
You only would have beat us by 9.
Right.
I
Knock
would
off,
beat us by
knock
96.
off your 90 points because y'all had an extra person. Then we would have beat you by
No,
96.
no, you take off Nicole's point.
Why? Huh?
She was the lowest bowler.
And it was nice. People showed up. I didn't expect to be there, so we had a great time. The food was okay. It was okay, I guess. You know, it's kind of like it's alright. It's alright. Chicken wings. What do you
Happy
expect?
birthday.
Wings.
Happy birthday, little Earl.
My birthday is not today.
It's tomorrow.
My birthday is not today, and we don't.
Oh, so we celebrating
Oh,
tonight?
we
Yeah,
don't
we
disclose
can. We
people's
can.
government
We
names
going
on
out
this show.
tonight? We going out to the show?
No.
Wow, I miss
I
bowling.
got on flip flops. I got on slides.
You just want
You miss
to
I'm not going
What
out
track
in my
playing
slides.
tonight? You playing Sony?
No,
Oh,
that's the mom.
oh.
Come on, where?
And movies, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Moses. Yeah, Moses on Tuesday. Shout out to DJ Dre. But all in all, I've had a great week and I've been getting a lot of gifts.
So this is the big 5-0 for you?
No, nigga. Is you 50?
I thought it was.
Oh, if you ain't 50, then I
I was
can't
already
be
saying
50.
you look good for 50.
I look good for 28.
The lines you
It's-
tell.
You know what I'm saying?
It's 44.
Oh, it's 44. Okay.
I saw it on the
potato
potato
chip
chip
bag. Yeah. Oh, that was so
This
special.
is why I live, right? This is why.
That was so special.
Look
You had the
at
potato
him.
chip bags and you had
Oh.
the waters, the bottled waters. That was nice.
I just believe that y'all say certain things to agitate me.
No, we don't. We
Oh, and
excited.
look at this one.
What's that? Oh.
I'm gonna send
Oh, I
this.
think
I'm
it's-
gonna send this to Pew. I think she would like this.
Oh.
Why you keep bringing
And
the
a
people
nice-
up?
and a nice frame. Because you know your little cookout party wasn't too far from where she lives, so I know you be creeping over there near Pew House. That's her neighborhood. It's okay. It's look. Do your thing. Y'all do what you got. That's your come up. That's your come up.
Shake your tail feather.
Anyway,
Shake
anyway,
Shake it.
anyway.
So let's get on to
Woo!
our first topic. And of course, we're talking about the Central Park 5.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that.
Or should we say the exonerated?
Yes, let's
Say
say
the
that.
exonerated files.
I think so, Jen. I would agree. So we're going to talk about
The
the
exonerated Central Park.
We're going to let our legal correspondent, September, have it started.
Wow. I was surprised that people didn't even know about the story. I was really surprised about that. I was like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't hear about it until the show.
Really?
I don't remember it until I watched the show.
do you remember that, we were young teenagers at the time
Yeah.
that it happened, their age. So I remember when they were released and the talks about it, and then definitely when they finally got their lawsuit that was some years later. Now, a lot of people did not even want to watch When They See Us.
Yeah, they
Ava DuVernay, she did an excellent job
She did.
with her Netflix depiction and the account of what took place. I think it's good for everyone to see. A lot of people were saying, is it too emotional? I'm not ready to watch it. this isn't the first time you watch something, I'm sure, that is emotionally charged.
Right.
I don't know what it is about this story in particular that made people reluctant to see it, because it's something that we know of that has been going on and still goes on. You know, and I'm just wondering, like, what is the, why should we see it? And I'm wondering why so many people are saying, yeah, watch it with your kids.
So you don't think they should watch it with their kids, or what's your take on that?
Watch it for what with your kids? I mean, what? Why say watch it with your kids? Just watch it. Just watch it. And then what age group of kids are you speaking of? That can emotionally, maturely handle watching that, and then what is your conversation gonna be behind it? Watching it is not gonna tell you later, oh, here's step 1 through 10 of what to do when the police approach you. The movie doesn't teach us that. It teaches the ugly hatred and the broken system
I got
that
a lot
attracts
more
so
from the movie than
many
that.
of our
I think the movie, yes, it pointed out the system and how it's manipulative and how it's corrupt and all of that. I got all of that. But I'm the type of person, like, I look further in this stuff.
Okay.
So I, like, as the show progressed, I looked at the parents. Like, I really had to take a hard look at these kids' parents. Even though the one mother, she was very active in her son's life, whatever. She still gave up, in a sense. Like, I feel like the Spanish father, totally out of order. Totally out of order. He let his son, coerced his son into a confession. Same thing with the one black father. Gave his family up to keep a job because he was afraid that his job was going to find out that that was his son. So he coerced his son into admitting to or fabricating a story so that they could just get out of there, which didn't happen for them.
Which never happened.
Which didn't happen for none of it.
Right.
I don't know why any of these parents thought that by cooperating with a lie that their kids was coming home.
Well, I think what she was trying to do with that was just show the desperation of some people and to show just how when you don't know and you don't have resources and you just are not aware and your esteem won't even allow you to even stand up and make demands because you just don't know which way to turn. Like, you haven't been in this situation before. And I mean, we're talking, late 80s. And the mother that P was just mentioning, she actually approached in that scene the prosecutor and says to her, how dare you interview them without us being present or without an attorney being present? Well, how about I just talk to the New York Times and let them know what's going on? So she had to, use that as a way to say, look, if the media gets hold of this, people are going to start to raise questions. Other people who that prosecutor would have to respond to.
Right.
And that changed her tune a little bit. But I just showed, I think it just showed how so many people are lost. And a lot of people are still that way now, today. Now, to give your child up, to try to get them alive over a job or try to get them to just make up a whole story and you're naming people who you don't even know and you just making this whole thing up. I mean, with the Latino father, he was concerned about his job. Remember, he kept saying, I got to go back to work. I can't stay here. And while my son is being interrogated.
Right.
For what they said, I think was 42 hours, no bathroom breaks, no water, no food. It's in a, hot room. There's no cameras. There's no advocates there. There's no,
And there's
knowing your presence.
First of all, there was no adult, no parent. You, as a juvenile, cannot be questioned by the police without your parent saying you can be questioned. Like, they just can't ask you questions and grill you. And then that's another thing that bothered me. Like, when this went to court, when it went to court, that wasn't even an issue. Like the judge didn't have an issue with them juveniles being questioned by the
Well,
police
they had a whole
for so
team
long.
of lawyers, so why didn't a team of lawyers say, well, this confession, I mean, like, apply the law. I know there's reference case law that you could have brought up that said, well, wait a minute, you interrogated me, you arrested me, you didn't, I mean, were they Mirandized? Did you tell them of their rights? Did, just civil rights violations after violation after violation. And, this still moves forward. There were some red flags that were raised. Some people did question, well, can you do this? Is this allowed? And is this okay? And they just went ahead with it, and it gets to court. And they all have their attorneys, some of them experienced, some of them not. Here again, there was only one that was, I think, from legal aid that kind of knew what he was doing, but everything was stacked up against him because this was so highly politicized. It was so much in the media. 45 taking out ads in the paper, and I remember Al Sharpton saying years later and bringing up stuff about Trump and saying that the things that he did, and he did.
Right.
He did. People brought this up during his campaign for the presidency. Like, how do you say, oh, we need to bring back the death penalty? This is before any court proceedings. Like you just say straight off the bat. But again, we looking at these kids like they're adults.
Right.
Our kids get looked at as adults. Well, they were still out there doing something. Well, when it's other people, oh, it's just mischief. Boys will be boys. No evidence, no nothing at all. I mean, this was just completely ridiculous, almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was almost just unbelievable.
She was just, that prosecutor, she was just pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just was the devil herself. She was evil. Like, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, when you just saw it unfolding, like, they were set them up like that, for real? Like, they doing this to these little boys, they were beating them while they were interrogating them, and it was terrible. Like, it was a point where I had to turn away, like, I can't believe this. Like, it will make you upset. You will get a little enraged by what you see, what you witness, and just how it all unfolds. Like, I can't believe this is going to go down like this. No, this is not real. And you're right. You do feel that way. Like, no, this isn't real. This is, they're going to find out that what they did. And they never, they knew, but they all collaborated and worked together to make this whole big story
Alive.
alive.
All the while, the real rapist, killer,
They're out there.
he was still out there doing whatever he was doing, beating people up, assaulting people all through the park, and you got 4 kids, and you've basically destroyed their youth, and it's affected their lives all up until today. I mean, that's what you did, and she's saying, well, we have to, that they see it as their jobs on the line. We gotta prosecute so many cases. We gotta, win cases. Well, I want 100%, guilty verdicts to everybody I bring in here. They manipulated the system to get it in front of a particular judge that they knew would go with them.
Right.
But then there's the jury.
Right.
I mean, the jury, y'all just went along with this. I'm looking at the faces and the people. But still,
Yeah.
it was still representative of them,
Right.
and they still went with it. Like, you still went with it. I mean, even like how did you come to that? And I think that they were just emotional behind it, because when the victim testified, it was really, really dramatic. She could hardly walk. She lost her sense of smell. She couldn't even remember anything that went on and what happened. And even today, I saw an article where she said, well, they still confessed, and my doctors always thought that more than one person did it. It didn't matter to her because those kids didn't look like her.
Right,
It only matters to them when they can relate to it.
right.
So when I see stuff like this is when I say, where's all the white liberal people? Where y'all at on this? Was y'all signing petitions? Where were y'all on this when y'all was saying, yeah, vote for me, y'all waving, or any of y'all little special interest groups, and where y'all at on stuff like this?
Adopting African kids,
We be somewhere by ourselves,
Korean kids.
fighting for something else,
They do. That's what they do.
worrying about somebody else's agenda, and we got this story out here in the fourth. I'm so glad she made this because it sheds a lot of light on a lot of crap, especially the prison reform. I mean, I looked at this and I just saw so many errors. I'm like, the New York prison system, and I knew when he asked for a transfer, he was asking for it. Because when they said Attica, I said, here we go. I knew what they were going to do to him. I mean, she kept it as, I guess, sensitive as she could. But he was raped. You know, those scenes, you know what those scenes meant. You know, so they got already a label on him. Oh, you're one of them. You're one of the Central Park Five. Oh, that's what you did. This was what we're going to do to you.
Right.
So that was his welcoming committee in the South, and then got set up again in, you know, when they left the day room and went in the back. Now he's in isolation. Nobody coming by, nobody doing anything. He can't reach out to his mother. She made a point to say 350 miles from Harlem. And just that struggle for her to get to him. I mean, she gave every angle possible from every point of view. And it just made you think, wow, this kid just didn't have a chance. He was slow.
Yeah.
You didn't educate him.
And hold on, what's crazy is he didn't even have to go.
Yeah.
He went because they was taking his friend. And he was like, I know I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't stick with you. Your mother is gonna be mad at me if I don't stick with you. So he went with his friend to help his friend. And he got the worst end of the stick.
Worse. Horrible.
He the only one that went to prison. Everybody else went to juvie. He went because he turned 16. So he went straight from court, from the jail to prison at 16 years old. This is why I try to stress to my kids, watch who you with. Watch who you hang around. Growing up, now they're adults now. But growing up as a teenager, watch who you walking with, who you talking with, who you're being seen with, who you hanging with. Because there is a such thing as guilty by association. And it happens. It happens a lot more than not. Look at all the new stuff they put, the new laws they kicked in, the gang laws.
What's that about?
Now, if you all right, so when you go to prison now, when you go to jail now, say you're arrested today, they take pictures of your body for gang tattoos, things of that nature. Then you're put in a category. You're categorized already in the system, in the computer, as a gang member and what affiliation you are. So say you live on a street that's known for a lot of gang activity or what have you, or known to be a hangout for this gang or that gang, and somebody gets killed on that street, they round people up for that. They round up known gang affiliate members in that area or on that block or whatever. And it's basically the reverse of innocent until proven guilty.
Oh.
So at this point, you got to prove that you wasn't involved in that situation or what occurred that day or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you're known to, it's hard to shake some of these because if say somebody did something and you are known to be with them all the time, everywhere they go, it's like two peas in a pod. They're gonna pick both of y'all up. You're a person of interest now. Whether you did it or whether you were there or not. Because you're known to be with this person. And a witness says, oh, it was two guys. Guess who the second guy is? Yo ass. So you there now. Yeah. It's a whole, oh man, I could go on and on about the new laws to keep Negroes in prison. Ain't no such thing as this a drug charge no more either. They did that with drugs.
It's systematic. When people say it's systematic, that means you got a lot of systems that's working together to get this to happen. Like nobody cared. I mean, Al Sharpton was there because the lady that was an activist, her and her husband, they, at the end, she had a speech, a rally outside for them when they were coming home. And she, thanked him, but we didn't have all of the avenues like we have now. Like things pop up and these things happen. We didn't have, the Innocence Project, which the one of the five, he gave a lot of his money to from the settlement so that he can help other people. We see it all the time. Oh, they exonerated just by DNA. Well, golly. Well, how about everybody just, let's get this DNA going if there's still physical evidence that's been preserved and see, what's what. I mean, I'm sure the victims would want to know the real, their real perpetrator and have their justice. That's still justice to them.
Right.
And, the movie, even with them coming home, they all came home at different times.
Right.
The ones that went to juvie, they come home and we see and I know about this. It's very difficult because now, and especially for them, because they're adults.
Right.
So they miss
Everything.
their adolescence.
You're talking about 6 years that some of them spent in juvenile detention with, let's say, other children or juvenile that needed to be there. These ones didn't need to be there. They weren't problematic children. They weren't in trouble all the time, stuff like that. So they were in an environment, a hostile environment with children who had
Earn their way
there and needed to be off the street.
there.
Can you imagine being put, some of us don't even like to sit in a room with certain people and their temperaments and their attitudes. We don't even want to be in the same room with them. Imagine being forced to sleep with someone, eat with someone, take showers with someone,
Yes.
recreational time with someone who that's not the type of people that you normally associate yourself with.
Right.
And then you're on a defensive, you had to defend yourself.
Right.
Because they see you as different.
Right.
They know you different. And then your trial is so public that they know why you're there. And that's a problem. And that's definitely a problem. That's definitely a problem. That's why I think Corey, that's a strong problem.
Is it?
That's a strong problem.
It's amazing. That isolation alone.
He spent years in a cell by himself.
That isolation alone to your mind. I mean, that's why he was hallucinating. And I'm like, nobody came around. I'm looking at the chaplain. The chaplain was so cold and wasn't compassionate at all when he had to report on his brother's passing. And I'm just looking, it was one CO that tried to, reach out to him and try to help in some small way. But me, I'm like, well, where the case managers at? I was like, well, where were the other staff? And it just goes to show you how prison has changed. So when people say, "Oh, you know, prisons don't need rights and all of this kind of stuff,"
All right, we're gonna take
It's
a
no
break
checks
for
and
a
balances.
second, and we'll come back.
that was right.
And we'll continue this conversation because I know some people online that's watching that might have a comment. Maybe even want to try to see if this phone line works. All right, so we'll be back. Give us a few minutes. We gotta pay some bills.
I was 35 when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. My ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me. I felt hopeless. He called Elite Rehab Placement because I couldn't make the call. I was ashamed. I was given skills to manage my sadness and my anger, and more importantly, I'm 3.5 years sober. I'm so grateful for all their help. And all it took was making one phone call.
Some of it I fell asleep. Some of it I was
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with you to recover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more. 800-918-1376.
And I knew how the story went, what was gonna, what was gonna happen, but it was just like,
1376. That's 800
you know, you always kind of picture yourself, what if I was
1376.
in that position?
Seniors want peace of mind and a free prescription
Yeah,
discount.
you're
Keep listening. Are you age 85 or younger? Here's an important message to you and all seniors from Final Expense Direct Insurance Services. The average funeral now costs over $7,000, and the most government benefits will pay your family is only $255. Our senior plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. There's no medical exam. You'll have life insurance. Plus, rates will never increase. And the plan cannot be changed as long as you make your payments. Get your free information about our
Courtney, yeah, we talking about the Central Park 5,
and get approved
the
right
Netflix
over the phone.
movie.
Plus, call right now and you'll receive a
You
free
gotta watch
prescription
it. You
discount
gotta take a
card.
look
Call
at it.
800-675-0194, 800-675-0194, 800-675-0194. That's 800-675-0194. Are you getting squeezed by the economic downturn? Hey, you were doing fine. Then all of a sudden you're having a tough time paying your family's credit card bills. Maybe you were downsized or even lost a job, but you still owe 10 grand or more in credit card bills. And you just can't afford the minimum payments anymore. We're here to help. We are the Genesis Debt Partners. We know the secrets to negotiating better terms with your creditors. Make a free 10-minute call right now and learn how we can help you get out of debt. 800-297-9142. If you owe 10 grand or more in credit card debt and you want to learn how you can pay less and get out of debt
And then
faster,
watch it and pay
call
attention.
right now. 800-297-9142. 800-297-9142. Get out of debt now. 800-297-9142.
Yeah. Oh, darling.
Hey, it's September Heather, one of your co-hosts of Between Friends. Listen to us live on WMSK Online Radio, Mondays 9
Definitely
p.m.
something
to
you
11.
should watch from the age where this happened for those 5. So yeah. Good time for them to watch it. There's much chat about it coming home.
All right, welcome back, y'all, to Between Friends Between Friends on WMSK on radio on the show. State versus Us magazine, your official source for the streets. State versus Us magazine, your official source to the streets from prison, highlighting high-profile cases, corruption in the police department, government, the prison system, wrongful convictions, success stories of the former incarcerated. If you know someone or you yourself have a story to tell on a feature and a space, please email State vs. Us magazine at stateversususmag@gmail.com. Get your print or digital copy today. State versus Us magazine.
Hey. See your hand up to
So back to the circle file. So Courtney says he has a lot of questions about it, mixed feelings. Mixed feelings. There will definitely put you in a, I said it'll definitely put you in a place, a space. A lot of thinking. It will definitely make you think about a lot of things, Courtney, especially if you had children that age. I think that it's even harder, or you sit and think, what if this happened to my son? Because, my son out there was out there playing with his friends.
That's the thing, it's happening to our
Yes,
sons.
it is, absolutely.
Not our biological, but it's happening to our sons.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the way it is. That's just what it is. They come home, they already, can't get a job, they trying to, settle back in with their families. A lot of them had some rough home situations and, one.
Sorry, y'all.
Corey's mother, she had her own set of problems and she was going through so much and she didn't have the means to visit him, and she reached out to the one parent and one parent was like, look, I can't, my son not reaching out to your son because people don't realize, facility to facility, there's no communication.
Right.
So it ain't no, I'm gonna write this inmate over
But
here,
the mother
this inmate
even
over there.
tried to come up with a solution for that. She was like, how about when I come in, she was like, how about when I come in, you bring a letter, you get the letter from your son, give it to me, and then I'll give it to my son so they can communicate with each other. The mother's like, no. He needed that. Like, he really needed that. Because he was by himself. Like, come on. She was something else. That mother.
Well, when she found the Lord, because that happened later, where was the prison ministry?
I didn't get to that part.
Oh, you didn't get
I
that
didn't get to
part.
that part.
And that was her revelation, because she had a lot to deal with the son who was transgender, putting the son out, and the son
She was a horrible fucking parent.
Which one?
died.
The one? Who?
Niecy Nash.
Oh, Lucy Nash.
Corey's mother.
Niecy Nash.
She was just, to me, she was just, oh my God, she was horrible. I know it's hard to have a gay son or daughter. I can imagine.
And transitioning, not
Right.
just gay.
Right, not just gay, but he was
Transitioning.
Going through the process.
He
Yes,
wanted to be a woman.
Okay.
She had 2 sons.
1989.
All right. Now think about the year now. It's not like it's prevalent then. Like
Right.
now you see the shit everywhere.
Right.
So I understand it was
30 years
hard
ago.
for her to go through her son wanting to be a girl. All right, so she got a slow son and she got a gay son.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, here's a joke. There's a woman, she has 2 sons, one slow, one gay.
How's that? And
But
she was trapping.
She was what?
she was selling drugs out the house.
What?
She ain't had no job. She ain't had no job.
Oh, you didn't watch it all.
See,
I watch it all.
Not only was she
Oh.
mean and nasty, she was selling drugs. She was a trap house. Her house was a trap house. And she got tired of people talking to her about the gay son, so she put it out.
What? And they had such a close relationship. They
Yeah,
showed
the 2 brothers.
the brothers,
was
they
close.
had a close relation. They were just brother. They both just accepted for whatever the situation that they were in, however each of them
Yeah.
were,
Right.
and
then
just
Later on,
siblings.
the gay one got killed
He did.
while his brother was in jail. He got killed.
And his father died also
Yeah, his
while
father died.
while he was incarcerated.
His father died, and then his brother got killed.
How the brother?
I think he was murdered. Wasn't he murdered? He was murdered. They didn't say why.
Okay.
Too much about why. They just said he was killed.
Okay.
So
So Courtney said, why was the oldest boy getting beat up every prison he went to?
because he wasn't a street person.
Well, for one,
He
they
was
labeled
16.
him. They labeled him, and you do that to control.
He was, first of all, the truth about the matter is You put a 16-year-old green child in a room full of wolves.
Probably ain't been in a
In a
playground
room, right? Probably ain't never been in a street fight, let alone a prison fight. It's not like he had peers in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like people he knew. He was a child. He was 16 years old, and they put him in a maximum security prison with murderers, for real bank robbers, for real rapists, and he had to fend for himself.
Yeah, no youthful offender program. We ain't gonna see if we gonna do the see if we wave you back and give you some psychological evaluation. Nothing.
he had
They
to
had
buy-
no programming. It's crazy.
He had to buy the CEO cupcakes to save his cupcakes.
Or I took it as
Basically,
the CEO was hitting them too.
no, CEO.
That first one.
He wasn't hitting them, but he was sending people to fuck.
Yes.
He was definitely sending dudes and
Yes.
putting them in situations to be raped until he
Yeah.
got with the program,
That was the first white guy, right?
which was pay him something
To protect them.
to keep people up.
And I think the
which
paying was
it was, you know, he
I
was
thought it
giving them
was.
candy. He was giving them shit, food and shit. He was giving them whatever he could afford. I don't think he wasn't doing no raping, but he was setting him up. He was selling his ass. Because he was putting him in situations where he could be raped and nobody would know. But because he was like letting it happen in certain areas of the jail and only certain people was there, he was letting this shit happen.
And remember
So
his
I believe
size.
he was playing both sides of it, protecting him while he was paying him so that he kept him off of him, and then he gave him a tip. Don't move. He said, don't go to the infirmary.
Right.
Next time you get raped, don't go to the infirmary. The infirmary is for sneakers. He said you can go to isolation. He had a rough time. He had a horrible time in prison.
Horrible.
Horrible.
And his
And this is
physical
why I said he was
stature.
so strong.
Remember his physical stature?
He wasn't a big guy.
No, not at all.
He wasn't a big guy at
Not
all.
at all. So these guys.
Okay, so we talking about Corey.
Corey.
That was the Muslim.
No.
Corey wasn't a Muslim.
He's the shortest
Corey-
one out of
The
all.
one that had the black guy.
No, that's not Corey either.
All right, which one is
Corey is the one that had the high top feet.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, the dark skinned one.
He wasn't dark skinned. What
No, it was
movie did
it
you
looked
watch?
like he had dyed in it, like he had a light color
What the
hair.
hell
You see
movie did
this
you
in
watch?
here.
He was the one
You don't
that
have the pictures of.
he was standing outside
Right there.
with the one that was a
Right there.
Muslim. He was standing outside with the one that was a Muslim. They walked across the street. He was the one that was with him. When the fat police and the other white dude walked up to him and said, "Come with me." And he was like, "Oh, he's not on this, he's not on this." And he said, "I'm gonna go with him, my friend. I gotta go with my friend." He was the slow kind of one. He's kind of slow.
Remember, he was testifying and he got emotional,
Yeah.
and they kept badgering him,
Yes.
badgering. That's Corey. Okay, that's Corey. Okay. Yeah.
What show was she?
Y'all know I was a little slow with the brain.
Smoking that.
And it was just, oh, it was just crazy. I mean, just what he went through. I mean, and if it wasn't for a fellow inmate to confess and to confess it to the right people that was gonna make a move and do something about it. Now that was the thing. He confessed and he said, "Look, you take my hair, my skin, blood, take whatever you want to get," because he found the Lord.
Oh.
And he was like, I gotta make this right.
Yeah.
This is my charge.
That's how they, in
I did
essence,
this.
got
That's
out.
how they got out.
Yeah. They
Because
said,
the
I
dude-
did this.
The dude that actually did it recognized Corey in jail.
Okay.
And he told him, he said, "I need to talk to you. I need to tell you something." And Corey's like, "I don't want no parts of you. I don't know you." He was like, "I don't want nothing to do with you." He said, "Listen, I really need to talk to you and tell you something." Corey just walked away from him. But in the guy, he knew he wasn't never coming home because he had been caught for something else, another rape or something. So he knew he was never coming home, so he converted Christianity in jail. So in order for him to get right, he had to confess all of his sins. He was trying to confess to court. Court didn't want to hear it. So he went and he confessed to somebody. The lady, he confessed to some lady who eventually got the case reopened, and that's how they got exonerated.
And it took years.
And it took years for that.
It took years.
Because they still was trying to say they did it, even though he was, admitting to the crime. They were still saying, no, we already got Mr. Open Shut case. We already put the, perpetrator out, blah, 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 blah. So she had to, in essence, build a whole new case.
That's what you gotta do.
Based on this guy's confession, because he told them intricate things about the crime and the crime scene that only the person or people that did it would have known. And that's how it came to fruition that she got a case started. Because he was giving details upon details of where her body was, how it was positioned, and all of it. He was just a Spanish dude.
All the Spanish people.
Yeah. Why you whispering?
I don't know what you said.
Right.
Now, how about how they found out?
How they found out?
How they found out that they was getting out, or the ones that were already out, that this case was being reopened and they were being exonerated. It wasn't no official, formal, nothing from the state's attorney, from nobody. It was like, oh, I found it on the street. Hey, man, you exonerated. They caught the real dude that did that. It wasn't you. What?
It wasn't no big announcement until after.
No, it was.
They got the millions.
Until
That
after.
was years later that they got the millions.
No,
That was
they got
a
the money.
decade.
They was home way before they got
It
the
was a decade before they got
See,
the
they
money.
was already home. 4 out of the 5 of them was already home and trying to, survive on the street.
Right.
Corey was the only one in prison. He was still in prison. Because Corey got like 20-something years to life or something, didn't he? His initial sentence was like 20-something to life. Because he was past 16. So, but the other ones, they had juvenile life, which is till you turn 18. 17, 18, yeah. So from the time he was 14 to 18 or 21, I think the one came home when he was 21. So, yeah, they spent some time in the system. Corey got it the worst. Because he not only went to prison and was raped and stuff like that, he was transferred all over the country. He went from New York to in Mexico, was it?
Did he say what I'm
Yeah. He went to a couple different prisons.
I know you went to different ones. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was just like, okay, yeah, y'all out.
No. I'm sorry.
You're wrong, New Mexico. You get mixed up.
He went from Rikers to Attica to somewhere else. Yeah, upstate that was like 300 and something miles away from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? He went, Rikers is the closest one he was in. And he went to one after that was like 100 miles away, something, 80 miles away. And then the one after that, they sent him almost 350 miles away from Harlem. Because he kept asking for transfers.
Why was he asking for transfer?
He listened to the one guy. He listened to the one guy say, well, look, sometimes you ask for a transfer, you can get out. He doesn't know. He has no guidance. He's scared. He wants to get out. He's tired of being trapped by this group of probably the same men that was using him for all sorts of things, not just, for the sexual assaults.
Right.
So any way that I can get out and I can ask to leave and get transferred.
He was listening to what's kind of known as the jailhouse lawyer. which is another nigga that's locked up just like you, who know the law.
Sometimes they be knowing though. They be knowing that.
No, listen. None of them that is just getting there know shit.
You ask somebody that's been in and out a few
no,
times.
the only ones that know the law, let me tell you the ones that know the law, that have been out on the farm or in well, I'm specifically talking about America. They have been out on that farm or Hagerstown or something like that, and they bringing their case back downtown. Them niggas know the law. They done sat in that law library day after day after day, looking for something, looking for any reason to open their case. So to them brothers, they know the law. Even stuff they wasn't looking for, they know now. Because they wanted a reason to get their case back in the city and heard. Because they've been out on the farm for 10 years now. They've been in the law library for 10 damn years. They've been in the law library a long time. And now they got, because they couldn't, because what happens is, there's no finances for a lawyer no more. Once you've been in jail or prison for 10 years, your family ain't, you lucky to still be in contact a lot of times. Be lucky to still be in contact with your family. So these dudes go to the law library, they figure out, first thing you gotta do is figure out the paperwork that you gotta fill out to even begin to open your case, because there's specific paperwork, right? And it's gotta be sent to specific people. And once you get that far, then you start putting your case together and start figuring out, okay, this happened in my case, this happened, but this was supposed to happen, it didn't happen. This was supposed to be done, and it wasn't done. And you gotta have these little nitbits of information, that are generally overlooked, but it's law. But it's law. And that's how a lot of these guys, they get their case back down, I keep saying it in the city, but they get their case back before the grand jury, which is the goal. Because the grand jury, they reopen the case, right? When you submit your stuff and all that, and somebody has to look over this, ultimately the grand jury will reviews it again. Am I right?
Responded.
Well, yeah. You petition the court to reopen the case once
Right.
you find a hole, and
Right.
then you want that jury because you want somebody to feel the pain.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
That's
Our
crazy.
judicial system is a joke.
It is.
It is.
But people don't believe, then people will say, well, and I know somebody's gonna say this. I know somebody's gonna say, well, if they wasn't outside, well, if they wasn't in the park,
Look, y'all, they kids. That's what they gonna do. They gonna play that.
that's why my kids don't go outside.
Well, you don't.
Well, this could have happened while they were at school. Somebody
It
could
could
have
have happened while you was at home and give yard.
Right.
It don't matter. It can happen anywhere.
Going to the mailbox, come back from the mailbox.
Right.
That you told the child to go and get the mail.
Get the mail.
Take the trash out.
Exactly.
And this could have happened.
Right.
And, and it does. And, I mean, they probably did just give up. They probably just said, forget it. The parents probably was like, look, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm trying to hit y'all with some money on your books, meaning some money orders on your inmate accounts so you can order commissary and get your oodles and noodles and stuff like that.
Make your hook up.
Make your hook. Try to call home when you
It's
can.
not so bad, though. Not so bad. It's not so bad.
Try to call home when you can. And it was interesting because, like, me and my coworkers, we talked about it and we looked at it and we thought, wow, it's like no women working in these facilities. Like, it's just, it was just so, and it really took you back to a time when it was just different. It was just different. You didn't have, no social workers. You didn't have, nobody you could reach out to. He was just lost out there on his own by himself. And I'm just interested, like, mentally, and I'm sure he'll be doing interviews and he has done some. Like, how did he even get his mind right? Because he's the only one that remained in New York.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
still in New York.
He is the only one that remained in New York.
Everybody else, they left.
What?
One of them moved to Baltimore. Or Maryland.
I know a couple of down south in Jersey. So when they're trying to get, now it's settlement money, now it's retribution. I gotta get some kind of justice. I mean, what else am I gonna get? So they get, 41 million split between all of them, which wasn't enough. Giuliani didn't want to give it up. What? Neither did Bloomberg. He didn't want to give it up until de Blasio came in and he was like, yeah, give it to him. That's right. That don't make no sense.
$8 million is not a lot of money.
Because that's
and you spent 10 years
of your life.
And you were raped.
And you were wrong.
And all of that.
You were charged with a crime.
Civil rights. Civil rights is violated.
That's not no damn.
It's not enough. Because did they have to hit off their attorneys too, right? The attorney fees had to come out of there.
Not at this point.
Not at this point.
I don't think the attorney fees was affected at this point.
No.
Because
Okay.
there were no attorneys anymore.
Okay.
They lost.
I mean, these other lawyers, they were like advocates from some
The nonprofit groups.
Yeah, and those type of people. So you had people who were doing that, and they were really, advocating for them. And then the story got out years later, like giving them money, what's going on, how come they've been exonerated, like y'all didn't do anything, like y'all didn't educate them, especially Cora, you didn't give him just like basic stuff, just, I know off the top of my head that he should have had. And that little bit of money, but to them that meant we gotta admit that we are wrong. We did something wrong. We gotta admit that there's the system is a failure.
Well, it is. And that's why.
And we failed these Black kids, all of these adults, all of these professionals, all of these people who, who studied the law, who are part of this system. And, you had maybe like one Black police officer among all of the white detectives that were interrogating them. And he was just kind of standing there looking like,
Let's talk about the failed system when we come back.
You're like, shut up, don't say
50
nothing.
or older?
You got that
If
good
you
job.
think
Don't
we
you
can
speak
help.
up? Don't you say anything?
Let me ask you.
People want to hold
are
on
your
to whatever
knees
little bit they
chilling?
got because
Yeah, are they
it
ever?
wasn't,
What about your back?
that
Can you bend over?
hard to
Does
come
it
back.
feel like this?
Yes,
How
and
about
parents
you out of bed in the morning? If you're like me, your knees and
struggling,
back feel like
being educated, they may not have good jobs, they got other children to bring
or taking
I'm
medication.
enjoying this conversation.
If you
Y'all
have
have
insurance, you may have little or no cost or out-of-pocket expense.
What you
Use it,
said?
it works. Call the Pain Relief Hotline now for free information. 800-427-0183. 800-427-0183. Call now.
That happened at the house.
That's
That happened at the house in Maryland.
0183.
You gotta
Not too long ago, it felt good to
14,
withdraw
almost
your
15
cash
year
from the
old
bank
put in,
for a vacation
put in the
or a
house
car.
correction,
But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky.
and you couldn't find them for a week or two.
Oh, Lord,
You
don't
know,
tell
so
me
you
that.
you snatching them up and doing what you
I learned that all
want to
banks
do
are
with them. And
Oh,
that's where it is now.
on you and
Now,
me
I remember when he was getting ready
and
to
then
get
report
out,
any financial behavior deemed
and he was
suspicious
leaving the
or
state after he
unusual.
got out, because,
You must
you know,
read the secret
that's a
warrants.
process
Truth-
today.
Truth is, I believe the government's
So all of that
not
was
war
gonna
against
be in
cash
order.
is really a war
And
against the
somebody like
But the
contacted
secret
his
is now
mother,
out.
was asking his
So
mother
please,
something. She
get
said,
and
y'all
read
had
the
him more than
secret
I
war.
did.
Pick up your phone and call right now.
I've only had him for 14 years. Y'all had him for, 20 years.
800-978-3901.
What you think I got?
800-978-3901.
I don't even know.
Right. Kids
Once
should be
again, that's
able to go to the park without someone asking them because rail
Black
like,
boys.
but we know that's not the case.
Railroad.
It's a hit out on Black men. I don't know where it's come from, but it's a hit out on our Black men. We're pointing
And I don't care
look cross-eyed.
if it was a particular Black man or group of Black men that were doing it. You don't just profile everybody else. Somebody profiling you, you don't know what that's like. You're not a black man.
All right.
Boy, shut up.
No, you can't come in and get mouth running.
We know what you want.
Every time you gotta go through this. Welcome back to Between Friends and WMSK Online Radio Home Show. Underwood Morning Show. www.wmskonlineradio.com are looking for jazz, gospel, entertainment, fashion, Latin, Caribbean, and community and other types of shows. If you or someone you know are interested, please send us an email at wmskonlineradio@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Leader in Talk Radio.
So for all the people who still want Jesse Smollett to pay, let's talk about who should pay in this case. Starting with Linda Fairstein.
White chick.
Well,
The
she done lost
prosecutor.
everything.
And she should.
No. She stepped down.
She stepped down from some.
She didn't
From
come.
some.
Nobody came after that woman.
Resigned.
She
After much pressure,
She
though.
resigned though. Nobody came for her.
But here's the
After
question.
much pressure.
But here's the question again. Why didn't they just say, well, we're sorry, like they told Mr. Cosby, but we don't need your, we're gonna snatch back that honorary degree that we gave you. Why didn't they say that to her? Why do you think? So I mean, here again, this is what I say. Where's all the white liberal people who mad that 45 don't want the gay pride flag flying at the U.S. embassies across the world?
I don't want the gay pride flag flying in the goddamn embassy.
I'm
I'm with you on that 4 or 5. But they got their own flag now.
It's funny how
They got their own flag.
the rainbow.
Gay people got a flag.
And it's
Did
just
y'all know that gay people had a flag?
it's just that
Wait, time out. No, we're not gonna walk past
Yes,
that
we are.
shit.
We're gonna tip
Like
right
you
on
just
past.
ain't even say that.
well, that was the big
Gay
controversy
people
behind
have a
45.
flag.
The rainbow flag. They
rainbow
wanted to
flag.
fly it beneath. No flag can fly higher than the U.S. flag. You know that military. So they wanted to fly the rainbow flag underneath the U.S. flag at our U.S. embassies.
I thought your flag had to be what you call it? When your flag, if you notarizes a certain group, your flag has to be
Officially,
like officially licensed and all
it
that.
is.
So they got a flag.
So everybody else's group is going to be able to do this.
Right.
Oh, so we got one. We got one with a pistol on it.
That's our flag.
Is that our flag? Is that what we gonna fly in February?
Ain't nobody telling me we had a flag.
We're always
But gay people got a flag.
backing, and I'm not saying that can't be our agenda, but I still see that as
Gay people got a flag.
initiated by white men. It's still a white man's agenda to me.
But gay people
I mean,
got
they
a
the ones started
flag.
the whole movement.
Are y'all listening to this? Gay people
We
have a
already
flag.
Yes, it's the rainbow flag.
And they want to fly it at the United Nations, at the embassies.
All of our embassies.
Why?
This month is Gay Pride Month.
I don't give a fuck. Why do gay people feel like people around the world,
Well, some places are not going to allow it. There are some
they flag
countries-
flying in their country?
Well,
Yes, it's our embassy. The U.S. embassy is there in each country. Yes, but we are still guests
right.
in that country.
Well, if it's a particular
I don't
country
blame
that has
45. Now this one, go ahead 4-5. 4-5.
Yeah, he gonna.
I understand, bro. Listen.
I don't know
some
the reasons
things-
behind it.
Some things we just should not fucking entertain. We just shouldn't entertain. Shut the shit down.
Okay,
Thank you,
that's
4-5. 4-5, shut that shit down. Shut it down. Because I don't want the gay flag representing me over in Europe or in South Africa or none of that shit. Flying
This
underneath
place
the
in Africa ain't gonna
First of
fly.
all,
Right.
sometimes I feel like I want the stars and stripes representing me. But I definitely don't want no goddamn rainbow under the stars and stripes. If I want a rainbow, I get a bag of goddamn Skittles. Come on, man. You know what? Thank you, 4-5, and this will never happen again, I promise you. But thank you for shutting that shit down. For shutting that shit that the gay flag at all in the embassy.
So
y'all keep on. Gay people will have more power in this country than anybody else.
We were talking
people
about that.
People shut their asses down. I'm telling you.
And my niece shared with me that her company.
Watch what I tell you. Let gay people get Google or some shit. Watch what happens. Watch.
Well, Google will probably change their symbol or something. I think they already did that. You know, like how they'll.
Let gay people get Google, or let gay people get what's the bank? State Bank.
Bank of America?
No, Bank of America ain't that big.
No, then.
On a world scale, Bank of America ain't that big. It's big here. It's big here.
I don't know.
But let them get like Google or some shit. Let the gay community somehow convince Amazon to let them be represented by Amazon. Watch what happens. Watch what I'm telling you.
Well,
you'll have rainbows on all your goddamn packages.
A lot of people are supporting it because it is Gay Pride Month, and I know that one of the Orioles games is going to actually have Gay Pride Night.
Oh hell no, they doing too much.
So a lot of people were
at the stadium.
At the stadium, a lot of people were.
What they giving out? Tie-dye T-shirt.
A lot of people were posting about it, and
this is enough.
And a lot of people were saying, love is love. I saw somebody.
Why do we gotta have a gay pride night at the baseball game? What the hell does being gay got to do with baseball? What? Did I miss something?
Well, they did it. Giant food.
Bat and balls. Is that a symbol for gay? I don't know.
Nature said Google has sponsored them.
No, I ain't talking about the sponsorship.
Giants.
See, they'll sponsor little things because they want the gay money.
Yeah.
We understand that.
Yeah, that's
but representing is something different. Sponsorship is one thing. Representing is another. They want their flag to be represented at the embassy. No. I don't want to gay. I don't even like going to clubs on gay night. Or walking into a club and realizing, oh shit, it's gay night. Why would I want to go to a baseball game on gay night? But why? What if I'm a season ticket holder? What if I'm already a 10-year standing season ticket holder, and now you take this night, and this is my team, this is the team I love to see the Orioles play, and you make it goddamn gay night. Now all the cotton candy is rainbow colored. We got rainbow colored hot dog buns and shit. No. Then you're gonna have a special gay drink special.
So my niece shared with me that the company that she works for wanted to part ways with Chick-fil-A because they weren't supportive of gay pride. You know, the owner, founder of Chick-fil-A, is very adamant about not being in support of gay marriage.
And they still selling all the chicken sandwiches.
And still don't have to open up on Sunday.
They still don't open up on Sunday.
Doing very, very
doing
well.
Great.
But, I just have an issue with people being criticized because they don't go along with
the gay agenda.
That's your agenda. I mean, I just commented no thanks to the baseball night. I was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. I was like, no thanks. And somebody asked me, well, why no thanks?
Because I said no thanks.
Because I'm not interested. The same way if it was Black Empowerment Night, the same way some of y'all wouldn't embrace that and go to that.
Right.
And some of y'all who are Black and gay.
Right.
That you don't lose all of this, I just want to love everything and everybody, and then you not loving, trying to support people like this.
Right.
And I had that conversation before, and I questioned somebody, well, wait a minute. Why are you so involved with worrying about, when gay couples adopt, that these gay men get paternity leave at the same rate as biological women get maternity leave after they've given birth? you know how a woman will, a job will say, okay, you get your 8 weeks maternity leave. So now, in the private sector, in this private industry, gay men are saying, well, I just adopted a child, so now I want my 8 weeks of paternity leave.
Right.
How are you pushing that agenda, but you're not pushing for that woman to get additional time as well? Why she only get 8 weeks? What if she had twins?
What? The point of
She only gets 8 weeks, but see, you're not even trying to extend anything to her because you're so busy worrying about them. And I feel this way because I
I
still
thought
see
that
it as a
maternity leave was for health reasons and stuff like, for a woman, for her body to heal.
Recover.
And right, recovery. And then the baby. It was about the baby.
bonding.
Yes.
And that's where they get it from with the adoption with the gays is the bonding. Because even if, I know for the state, if you adopt, you do get special additional, leave time so that you can.
Don't get me,
Because you have an
wrong.
addition to the family. And
don't get me
all of
wrong,
that kind of
to each his own. To each his own. Love who you want to love. For real. For real. Listen, that's something between you and God. I don't have nothing to do with your life. Your lifestyle, none of that. Whether you believe it or not, that's you. I don't care. But when you start imposing your belief on other people, or you're thinking that, you deserve special attention because of a lifestyle that you choose, that's when I have a problem with you. That's when I have a problem with the gay community. I don't have a problem with anybody that's gay at all. I have gay friends. I know gay people. I don't have a problem with the person. I have a problem with this body of what's called the gay community. That's what I have a problem with. I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing about them advocating for equal this, equal that. We deserve this. You don't deserve a motherfucking thing. Nothing. You don't deserve shit. Because for one, nobody told you to do it.
Well,
nobody said you had to.
These are people saying this is how I was born. I was born this way.
Well, good for you. You was
chemical,
born gay. Why the hell should I? Now, what the fuck they gonna want the front of the bus next? Huh?
Well,
why should a gay man get the same maternity rights as a woman? Why? Why are we even entertaining this shit? A gay man getting maternity rights?
And it's a gay.
Why are we even entertaining this? Why are we wasting time in court? Because that's taxpayer money? Is the gay people paying for this shit to go to court? No, all of us are. When they have court cases after court cases after court cases to get these rights looked over and see if they're constitutional, who's paying for this shit? It ain't just the gay people.
All the while, lawmakers in Alabama want to tell a real woman with
right.
Her
you can't have a baby.
Yeah.
You can't get an abortion.
Right.
But gay dude, listen.
You can get a vagina.
You can get a coochie though. Come on, man. Come on. As I said, I don't have a problem with gay people. Do your thing. That's you. Do what you do.
So I said.
But the gay community as an entity, because that's what it's becoming. It's becoming like Mexican people, black people, gay people.
And the thing about it is when I pointed that out to the person I was talking to, they just had to stop and think, oh yeah. Like, you're not even advocating for this woman to get additional time. Why stop at 8 weeks? Why don't you advocate for her to get 12, but you so busy jumping on that bandwagon? Why is that? And I still see it as a white man thing. All of that stuff came from white men wanting to be gay, proud, all of that kind of stuff. They're going to get what they want anyway because they're still white men. They just happen to be gay, but they're still going to get what they want. And they still going to be able to push, for, I can use whatever bathroom. If I want to use, we got add bathrooms. So now you have to give me my proper accommodations. And some black people who are black and gay, sometimes they only identify with that group and nothing else that matters to black people. They identify more with that, forget Black issues and things that we just got finished talking about. They really, they not strongly opinionated about that,
Right.
but they would be strongly
If it ain't
opinionated, right, if it's not something about that. And that's what I have an
Yeah,
issue
you
with.
say the words, okay, you say yeah.
Yeah,
Say yeah.
yeah, about
Say
that,
homosexual.
that, you know,
You
agenda.
kind of like, I noticed when you try to kind of skip over those words.
Well, I wanna make sure I'm using the right terms.
Say yeah.
I didn't
Say
mean to
homosexual.
say
Say lesbian.
the
Say-
gay,
say
I mean to say the
Say
gays.
lesbian.
I think I said
Say
that earlier.
lesbian. Say lesbian.
Lesbian, gay, I do the whole LGBT.
We got a lot of other names for them that's not politically correct,
queer.
but I'm not
They
gonna go into
include,
that
they include that.
this evening.
So not only was that a big, you know, issue in social media, but here was another one. So we're still talking about gay pride month. So Baltimore County Public Library is embracing the idea of having a drag queen book reading. You know, the drag queen will read a book to children during story time.
No, absolutely not.
Don't look his eye. Please don't. You don't look his eye. And
If you are a Baltimore County public school parent,
it's the Baltimore County Public Library.
okay, but your kids are probably had to be school age to go to this. They can't go by themselves.
Oh yeah.
So if you are a parent and you live in Baltimore County and you are not up at your county representative's office every morning raising hell about this, what they're going to let Baltimore County Public Libraries. That means a library in Middlesex, from the library in Middlesex to the libraries in Randallstown and Owings Mills. There will be a drag queen reading story time to your child.
Now these libraries got a tough enough time having decent books about us. So here go black people again. Here go black people again.
I'm trying to understand.
Jumping and humping on something.
I'm trying to understand who and what.
Just possess them.
I'm trying to understand who. Like, listen, we forgetting these things. In essence, when you do stuff like this, when you allow things like this, you are forcing that on people.
It is a drag
You
queen.
are forcing gay, whatever, you know what I'm saying, on people, not just their children. Young children.
Let them be kids.
They gotta be young, and if they sitting at the library for story time.
Yeah, well, they had a photo
Come
of the drag queen and the kids like in a circle and they're reading a book to them. So you couldn't find, you
So
know.
my grandmother retired.
Thank you.
First of all,
Took the words out of my mouth.
let's state the obvious, okay? Let's state the obvious, because we sitting here talking about how, okay, now it's a gay person, a drag queen, we have story time. Okay. Do they come get straight people and have them read books to their kids? Do they come get straight people and have them speak?
Now they may, because they have a lot of different programs, and I think they want to make kids comfortable with their choice of sexuality. And remember we did the show. Listen,
first of all, a child don't know a man from a woman if it's in a dress. A child wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what to look for. To say, hey, that woman in a dress looks like my dad. They wouldn't have just an ugly person to them. They ain't looking at throat and hand size and foot size and stuff like that and makeup and
some kids.
Man, kids ain't looking at that.
They
ain't looking at that.
4 and 5.
You know, some kids, you get the right 7-year-old in there, they're gonna be like,
they gonna know something's wrong.
They're gonna know something wrong, and they're gonna look twice. But it's
but
the whole
time age.
It's the whole idea of
pushing the gay agenda. That's what
it's a drag queen. It's like a entertainment play, just impersonation, just a whole bunch of, it's why with the costume to make, what is it? Is it supposed to be a fun thing? I don't know what it was supposed to be. And the person that posted it was like, oh, look at this at the library. It's so great and wonderful. And I remember talking to somebody posed a question and I was talking to one of my friends about it. And they said, oh yeah, I would let my child do that. Oh yeah, I wouldn't care. I would let my child go to, and I told one girl, I was like, well, I know your baby father. He ain't going for that. Well, that's what if I want, and it's just this something, and I said it before in a previous show about women embracing. I'm not a fan of no drag queen show. I don't think it's funny, cute, entertaining. I do not like it. I don't even like a lot of black men in dresses playing roles in dresses. You know, like remember Charles Barkley put on that black halter dress for Weight Watchers and a wig and strappy shoes. You know, just the whole, you know, and women who just always want to, you know, emasculate men and just always, you know, just down in them, put, you know, just the great, just all of that. I mean, that's not my cup of tea, the drag queens. I know people who love the drag queen show. They love the men impersonating women. You know, they enjoy it. They go to a drag brunch. You know, drag fashion, drag, you know, whatever.
So Tanika says those kids are going to be so twisted, and it's forcing us on the kids. They are not ready for all that.
Well, their parents, their caregivers think it's such a wonderful thing for them to embrace it so that I guess when they do encounter someone who is in that lifestyle, that they are not, it's not a whole bunch of shock value, you know, added to the situation. It's not like, oh my goodness, you know, my friend Sarah has two
on the
moms.
fact that they got a flag.
You know, it's just the rainbow cloth thing that they.
But that Lucky Charms got the rainbow thing sewed up. They can't have the rainbow.
Now, some years ago,
Skittles
I think
got
it
the
was-
rainbow. It was in the commercials. Taste the rainbow.
I think it was California.
How they gonna take the rainbow and make it?
Remember in kindergarten, you had different like play stations, like different. You could go to this corner and read. You could go to this corner. This was construction, or this was painting. This was housekeeping. And they had dolls over there, or they had, you know, little fake kitchen set and stuff like that. And there was a man in California, and he challenged California public schools. He was like, my son ain't going in that kitchen. And that was his beliefs. And it turned out that they either removed it or made it optional, you know, or something
But
like
they had
that.
that when I was in school. They had the kitchen with
Yeah.
pots of pans.
We had home ec and
He didn't want his son to
But
go
we
in
had-
kindergarten and play in that
No,
little
see,
house.
that's
Oh,
going
come
too
on.
far.
We had that in
He didn't
kindergarten.
like
That's
that.
going too far because we had home ec in Deep Creek.
We talking about at elementary school.
He
You
didn't
know
like
how in kindergarten when you had the little stations.
But I'm saying though,
You
in
had
middle
those.
school we had home ec and we sewed.
Yes.
We
did.
sold a book bag. We made
Y'all
book
remember
bag
that?
in home ec. We made little cracker pizzas. We cooked.
Yes.
We did all of that. So
Made the
that
tacos,
didn't make
sunshine
you, that
tacos.
did not make you gay though.
Right.
That
No.
taught you some things like if you tell your pigs,
How to take
you
care
got
of
to show your pigs. You
His
got to cook some food.
his
You know,
viewpoint
it's easy to do. You can't burn the house down. doing
his
it.
viewpoint
You know what I'm
was
saying? Like,
traditional gender roles. And that was his viewpoint behind it. We're looking at traditional gender roles. Look, my son ain't playing in the house. Get out of here.
well, that's
Well,
funny.
what if your son want to be a chef?
That's funny because his
Oh,
son
he
probably was already a ballerina. You can't hide your kids from stuff. You just have to educate them. Like, listen.
But this is what they were looking at with education.
I played with
the drag
dogs.
queen. But with the drag queen,
I had a big sister.
they see it as that with the
I had no choice. It was either play with her and the dogs or play alone. Play by myself. So I played with the dogs some days. Some days I played by myself.
So, Peter Don, we have some people on here that are very shocked and can't believe that you didn't know about the flag.
I did not know that it was a flag. I just thought they put the rainbow as just the rainbow. Like I didn't know that they was trying to fly a flag.
Well, there are a lot
A
of
rainbow
there are a lot of
flag.
symbolisms.
There was too many other companies claiming the rainbow.
The rainbow is
Skittles already got the rainbow locked up.
the rainbow is
Skittles had the rainbow for years.
associated with
For years.
the equal sign is too. When you see
No,
the equal
they
sign.
can't have it. We definitely not flying over the embassy underneath the American flag. Why do the rainbow got to be under the American flag? Why can't the black fist be under the American flag?
Because we ain't put up a fight
Right.
for that.
Right.
We're
Right.
not asking for that. And
I'm
we
not-
never will.
And why does every nationality in this country need a flag? Why does every group need a flag? No, you don't see the Muslims that live here asking for their flag to be flown under the American flag. No, why? Because they know they live in America. Why do the gay people gotta have a goddamn flag on the embassy?
So the other
No,
question.
hell to the no.
Okay.
And
No,
another
we
question-
don't want that shit
And another-
representing us all over the fucking world.
and-
No.
And another issue that came up.
It's the only country that do that shit. No, we ain't doing that. Hell.
Somebody
All right, we gotta
asked.
take a break. We gotta take a
Yeah,
break.
you
We'll be
take
right
a
back because I'm farting shit myself in the back. I'm gonna take a break, pay some bills.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's one more thing I want to bring up. Whole parade and festival.
What are you going to do with your
Yo,
old car? You
these
can
people
try
is
selling it.
going
You
hard.
can junk it, or
They
you
want
can
their
donate
flag
it to
on all the
Heritage World
embassies.
Your car will be
What?
towed away for free,
Are
and
you
your donation
serious?
is tax deductible.
So they
Just
gonna
call
have gay flags down in
1-800-639-8620.
Mexico.
Heritage
Right.
World
I know
Lines,
this.
Go
cars,
on vacation
vans,
this month.
trucks, and
You
boats.
just happen to
It
be,
doesn't matter if you
you
get
know,
a
near an
bonds or
embassy
not.
or
It'll be
maybe
towed away
maybe
for
at
free,
the whole
and you'll be
at the
supporting
port.
those
What
that need
call
help.
you get the port.
Heritage World Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired
Oh,
with
let's
full
talk
lives.
about them.
Call
Going
them.
out
All
to
our
the
embassies, that's a
It
lot
has
of
a
places.
special thank
Now,
you.
if it's a
You
country
want
that
to
outlaws it,
Voucher to
because
be
there are
accepted.
Why
places
you
that
gotta be at the
Call
port?
Heritage World Blind right now.
Why?
Call
Why when I get off the plane, I gotta see a
1-800-639-8620.
gay flag?
Donating is easy.
But when I
and
get
your
off the
vehicle
ship,
is
I gotta
totally
see a
for
gay
free.
flag.
Plus, you
Why?
get a free
you didn't see
vacation
people
bus.
Why?
Call
changing
now.
their profile picture with the rainbow.
1-800-639-8620.
Now people change
That's
their shit for anything.
1-800-639-8620.
Anything
Anything
but
except black shit.
I ain't see
Main Street
anybody change it to this.
Millions of dollars.
Anybody change it to Central Park?
Your business may
Central
already
Park
be
5. Anybody
to
change it
receive
to
up to
anything that was related to
$250,000.
injustice?
We've set
People were
up
doing it
millions
with
of
Black
approval
Lives
letters.
Matter.
We see
But then
the
it went
economy
away.
grow, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest.
People won't do that to support race, but we'll do it to support agenda.
Tell them make a god. They want to be no right. Tell them make a goddamn tennis shoe. Make a gay sneaker.
Nike made
Make a gay sneaker. In that way, but see, here's the thing with a gay sneaker. It's a fucking option of whether you want to look at it or not. Because if you want it, you buy it. If you don't, you leave the shit on the shelf. You put the shit on the embassy, you gotta look at this shit. It's gotta be recognized. Now, give them a Nike, Reebok, Adidas. Somebody give them motherfuckers a sneaker. And let it be an option. Oh, that goddamn everywhere.
He can say,
It's gotta
"My
be
man stays in
everywhere.
the kitchen and he's a great cooking chef."
That's
Boys
crazy.
should be able to be in the kitchen just as much as girls because everyone
Tough time.
has to and likes to eat. Plus, most of the greatest chefs are men. It don't make you gay because you like to sew or cook or design. We must be better.
Yeah.
Gender roles.
The gay, a rainbow
But we
flag.
get it. We get it worse. It's more acceptable for a man to be a chef.
That's gonna be.
But let me say, you take your car to a woman who's an automotive mechanic. You can. It's still that, or that's why they gotta put a lot of emphasis on trying to get girls to be in STEM programs.
Yes, that's the number
Because
one thing.
that's the number one thing, because there's a small amount of girls that get pushed into science and engineering. Look at girl musicians. You think we could have grown up saying, oh, let's play the drums, let's play the guitar, that's too masculine.
I think they should have.
But men are able to cross those lines
That should be.
quicker
a-
they are.
Absolutely.
Even as hairdressers. Yeah.
Men are more acceptable. That's an acceptable thing for men.
Hairdressers, makeup artists, but when a woman says she wants to do something that traditionally a man does, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's hard.
back to Between Friends on WMSK Online Radio, home of the Cheryl Underwood Morning Show. Make sure you visit www.wmskonlineradio.com to join our mailing list for updates, events, shows, and more. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at WMSK Online Radio.
All right.
I think I'm the only person that reads this shit.
We could take turns.
Next thing I just take this is a group effort,
Okay, we'll do it
Everybody
next
should
week.
take one.
Okay, next week.
you
Might as well finish it on off. You got right.
That's it. That was the
Oh,
last
that
one.
was it?
Ain't no more. Ain't no more.
Speaking of U.S. embassies and traveling and seeing things in other places, I know I ain't going to Punta Cana no time soon. And I was considering going. I ain't going.
And that's funny that you brought that up because we're actually having a giveaway to the Dominican Republic. Radio show. We're doing a giveaway right now, so if you call right now, you can go for free.
Punta Cana 2019.
We ain't guaranteed you coming back, but we gonna send your ass over. But that's crazy though, like all these U.S. citizens
Somebody else just died.
is disappearing and getting killed and found dead.
Oh, yeah. Now the first, well, I won't say the first couple, but this couple was from PG County, right here in Maryland. Went over there, vacation, nice couple, enjoying themselves.
Respiratory.
But didn't it make you think, was it like some like a meningitis type of, what kind of upper respiratory do you die from? That's called outside breathing.
Pneumonia.
Was it pneumonia? They would have said pneumonia.
But you saw the
Did they get their organs? Did they get their organs?
I don't know, but they said it was two ladies. Two ladies have come forth and said when they went to the Dominican Republic, they said that the bartender had served them a drink. And immediately
They started to throw up.
throw up. It felt like chainsaws was in his stomach, everything. So I don't know if this person is putting
Are they trying to drug them, to rob them, and they end up
And
dead?
then then it was the story with the lady that was over there in the Dominican Republic, who was on Facebook. She woke up in the middle of the night. She said first she just didn't feel good. So she went to her room. Apparently this man must have followed her. He must have drugged her because she said she recognized him from the bar. And she woke up in the middle of the night and that man was in her room. She said, I woke myself up so fast, not feeling well at all. And I tore him a new butthole, called the police. The police came, and now they got me at the jail questioning me. She was like, this man was just in my room.
I'll say this.
She was from here.
I've always said, I'm not fond of traveling and going a whole bunch of places where that I haven't, and just ain't frequently traveled, that ain't welcoming to black folk. And
There's too many don'ts when you go there.
No,
You can't drink the water. Don't eat this.
That's Mexico. You can't.
Some places in DR you can't drink their water.
people just really started doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's scary. I really
I ain't never
hope
heard that.
I hate you.
people get
I understand. They say that about Mexico. Don't drink the water. I ain't never heard anybody say that about Dominican
get
Republic.
to the bottom of it. I really did. And then
She got her little small. She got her people mixed up.
So the white guy that went there, his wife said that it cost him like $3,000 to see the doctor and $20,000 for them to send his body home. Because now you're talking about, I like U.S. territories. And if you go somewhere that's U.S. territory, I'm very friendly and nice to the U.S.
Right.
I'll go there, I'm good. I go to Puerto Rico, U.S., Virgin Islands, and I'm fine. I ain't even go nowhere else. Jamaica, we kind of
Stay on the resort.
Stay there.
Stay your ass on the resort. You go to Jamaica, you might not come back.
No tourist areas only. But I was just like, I don't know what, just to go through that.
Right.
You got to extend your health insurance when you travel. then you gotta think about how am I get home? I mean, that's not just
Yeah.
an easy thing, because you gotta go through their laws and the money and just all of that. And I mean, it was just sad. They showed that picture of that couple from PG. I was like, dang.
Yeah, how did we get that body back home?
You know, they got to go through all that. Then it's the big question mark. What do you mean just upper respiratory?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They might have smoked some bad shit.
No, it's too many
No,
couples.
Too many couples.
And one was the same resort. There were a couple situations where it was the same
I think
resort.
somebody's purposely doing it. I think there's one person that's purposely doing it.
Well, you know, it used to be the hot spot for people to go when they had, like, they wanted their little side boyfriends and girlfriends.
Oh.
So
What,
when they would when they would go on vacation, many of them would go to the same places. And a friend of mine told
Pulaski Highway.
a friend of mine told me that they found that many of them were doing things like getting their teeth fixed. And because, you know, it was hard for them over there with, you know, healthcare, you know, dental was high over here. And you can have insurance. So they was doing stuff like that. And, you know, just different stories you were hearing of people, you know, having little boyfriends and girlfriends. And, you know, when people tend to vacation in the same place a couple times a year, you can kind of assume that they got a reason to keep going back. So.
Maybe they just got reward points.
Yeah, they got frequent flyer miles.
They could. I think that's a possibility.
Use them or lose them.
Yeah. No, I think we lose them. You're pretty fly.
Going over there getting free.
You should know.
Getting free. So I would be.
Because you went to, when you was sick that time,
I would
somebody told us that you was, got a report.
That shit's gonna be on.
That allegedly you had went to South Africa via the DR and had contracted, you know, that night, how my man on Color Purple said, I had to got that master.
He was so injured when he said that. Oh my goodness. He said at the end of the table, yeah, one that slapped his face. Dumb tail. Oh my goodness. So no vacation and
So we
just vacation period. I mean, you gotta be careful of where you're going. I know people just doing a lot of traveling
Virginia
abroad. And
Atlantic City, Ocean City. You know, go to Miami, just stay, you know.
Stay in the States for a
Stay in the
while.
States for a couple
so
of
y'all
days.
know we can't go to Cuba anymore.
Cuba, that's out.
Oh, that's been big.
No.
No.
No, I'm not talking about before Trump did that. I'm talking about safety wise. You know, they ain't never rocked with us like that.
Havana. People were gonna go. People were going
People
to Havana.
going down there.
Now, my niece's cruise, they had to change their whole itinerary because Havana, they was gonna spend actually the night. They was gonna spend a whole day, spend the night in Havana. That was like the highlight of their trip. But you know, Royal Caribbean waited too late, so they got like places they really don't want to go. With you know, Carnival, everybody just had to redo everything. Like nobody is. You're not going. You can just hang it up, forget it. Trump
What's
said
going
no.
on? You know, what's
Nobody like Trump ass.
Trump said no. Y'all not going over there because I forgot why.
It was on Facebook somewhere.
Why did he say no
I
more
don't
to
remember.
Cuba? Is it got something to do with the
Something about the tariffs.
tariff? So we back on that. We back on getting ready to pay more for our coronas.
Yeah, that's what that is.
the Coronas?
Yeah, because
Anything that comes from it.
anything that comes from there.
Corona from Cuba.
Mexico.
Look, I don't know. I don't drink.
Y'all said Cuba.
Well, we were talking about Cuba, and I
What
said
do we get
why?
from Cuba?
Why? And
Cigars.
Jackie Blue said possibly tariff shade. You can't bring them back. You
You
gotta
can't
sneak
bring-
them back.
You can't even bring Cuban cigars in the country. It's like having crack.
You gotta sneak
It's
Why?
illegal.
Oh, why they never.
They that potent, yeah.
I don't know. I don't do any of those things.
So people were gonna enjoy going there to do them, and totally
What are you looking at me for?
totally live it up.
I don't know.
But
nothing about Corona.
when I said the tariffs,
We can't get no more Coronas from Cuba.
I didn't say that.
No.
You said that.
I said from Mexico. When she mentioned the tariffs, we started talking about Mexico got the tariffs. You know, now, so we're gonna have to pay more for our brothers.
How much you think?
So everybody, it's just gonna cost us more money. Some places that we might not be able to go right about
I just
now.
want to go to Hawaii. Everything else is not.
Yeah, I like it.
Africa maybe.
Well, you better hope we can still. Well, yeah, I definitely want to go to Africa. I definitely.
Other than that,
I would too, but I can't fly that long.
Now
you
somebody.
gotta go from here to here, take a day, here to here. You don't try to do the whole 26-hour flight, whatever it is, however long it is. Right. You don't try to do the whole flight. If you can't, if you have health reasons, you don't leave from here and go straight there. You leave from here and go to what's in
It's a
between.
lot of money.
You just get a layover flight. You just book layovers. And then just go up, come down, go up, come down.
That's a lot. That's a long ride doing that.
We're paddle boat over there.
No, that's okay. I don't really want to go like that. It would be nice if it was my lifestyle. If not, I'm okay with that.
Well, I don't know about no vacation for me. The way it's looking for me, that's gonna be a staycation.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless
I'm gonna be
I find a boo that can take me on vacation,
You
then
ain't gonna find no.
that may be a different
Not by the
story.
summertime, by that for the summer.
Well, I wasn't gonna go heat to heat anyway.
For the summer, we
It's too hot to go somewhere hot in the summer. I don't want to do that. I've done that before. I've done Jamaica in the summer, Puerto Rico in the summer. I don't want to go Vegas in the summer. I don't want to do anything summertime heat.
You ain't gonna have no boo this winter either. Systematically searching.
But if
All
that's
the requirements a nigga gotta have to move you ain't.
You're supposed to have requirements.
You got a
You're
constitution.
supposed to have a list. And,
No.
you're supposed to have.
Yours is beyond when people say, oh, I know, what I'm looking for and I'm not gonna settle for this.
It is
You
not.
have a dating constitution with a bill of rights, and basically the nigga ain't got no rights.
Look at his face.
Last nigga I seen you dated, he walked around looking just like,
Goddamn lie.
yes, I did have a. Nigga, smile. I can't. What's wrong? I don't have any rights. Like, so you was hard on it. Like, for real. I wish you the best. I do. I really do, because you are a nice person. But your rules and your systematic systems and
I don't have no system.
we had this conversation.
And rules.
We had this conversation before.
Systematic and
We
rules.
spent the whole show laughing at your system.
But what is
Talking and what's disclosed up front in the first date, and how many dates after that you should know this much.
Hey.
How many dates after that? Nigga ain't gonna be that many dates.
I'm not making no further moves.
Ain't
It ain't
gonna
gonna be no
It ain't gonna be no
certain type
dates.
of conversations. It ain't gonna be different things going down. It's just not gonna happen.
Well, that's why you always come to cookout studies and birthday parties. If you got a guest list and you can only fit 50 people on there and you up to 49, go ahead and make that. Cause she coming by damn.
I won't have a plus
anyhow.
one.
She ain't gonna have no plus one, none of that.
Now how I leave,
You leaving by your damn self.
that's what you think.
Cause let a nigga approach you at the bar. Well, where you were.
I mean, not
How many
ask
kids? When is your kid's birthday? What's their birthdays? This is the type of shit you ask a nigga as soon as he introduces himself. You don't even ask him his name. I mean, what's your kid's birthday? And how old they gonna be this summer? That's why your ass don't got those back. Oh yeah, do you have a bachelor's degree? Oh, you dumb. Did you finish high
That's a
school?
lie.
Did you finish high school?
That
Oh,
was
you
it.
have a GED.
Look at his face.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was nice talking to you.
It's
No,
not
I ain't
that.
mad. I ain't mad. That's you.
It's not that. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
It's It's difficult.
You just go ahead
It's
and hold it,
difficult,
hold
but
it down. Look,
the
I'm gonna laugh
vacation-
and she's dying laughing. You just go ahead and hold it down for the same.
Vacation. I may. Yeah.
You on vacation?
I hope that's the only way I'm gonna get to go.
What if
In
you got a date?
2019, I'm hoping 2020 will be different, but yeah, it's gonna
If
be
you got a
vacation.
date, that's the only reason.
Oh, a couple little, day trips here and there, but nothing heavy, nothing like I'm leaving the country or I'm going to the other side of the United States. That's not gonna happen this year.
You know where I'm going on vacation this year?
I don't think.
Alabama.
Oh, yeah, you are going.
That's it.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all family reunions in Alabama.
That's where I'm going for my vacation this year. I took off.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I'm going on vacation
You
in
and your
Alabama.
family do the reunion time.
That
ain't bad.
I don't think they're ready for me.
You might not be ready
Maybe
for
for
that.
them.
But I'm going.
Alabama.
I'm going down there, Alabama.
Well, I'm gonna be at the resort for rooftop pool.
Oh, that's where you stay.
Yeah, at my house.
Oh, you're not going. Nah, you're not going.
She said she gonna be with at the resort.
For rooftop pool.
Yeah, I may do something like that.
You ain't going, man.
Just go stay at a nice hotel a couple of days just to change the scenery. But with a nice pool, maybe somewhere local, but not
Somewhere local.
nothing big time. I can't do that right now. But if that changes
It ain't.
and a boo takes me on my vacation, then that's gonna be different. 'Cause I get to go on a vacation.
What's a vacation? I thought it was vacation.
Well, you look at your book.
Boo, bang, same thing.
Where's you going with a nigga you just met? The year almost over. It's your turn.
I got the rest of the
You
year.
got a couple more, you got 6 more.
Good travel time. Travel
You got
time in the
6
fall. It's not real
I'm
high.
gonna tell you like
You can
this.
save up cheaper.
Look,
It's
hold
flights
up.
right now.
Hold up.
It's crazy.
Hold up. You want a vacation, you ain't know to be 6 months. Now,
It's okay.
that's against the system.
No
That's
way.
against the system.
You get 6 months.
Is he getting some boo on the vacation?
What?
He paying for it. Because all you just said, you can't go unless you get a bag. So that means you want somebody to pay for your vacation, right?
I may be on
Now,
my cycle.
Is he getting
so
some
I-
good? Is he getting some banana?
I might be on my cycle, so I can't. I don't know what
I hope
the
you
dates
can't
are.
do the DR and leave your ass.
There, I ain't going to no DR. If I'm going on my vacation, I'm not going
I
to no
hope you
DR.
say, let's go to Dominican Republic, and he gets you over there, and you say, oh, no, he can't do it. And he say, okay, and he goes to the bartender and say, I got one for you.
So is there a rule? Is there a time frame before you go on a vacation?
Yeah.
What's the rule? No, it ain't. You ain't got one.
Yes, I do.
Oh, what is it? I want to hear.
Oh,
it.
if I'm
I gotta
paying-
get
if
close.
I'm paying-
I gotta get close.
If I'm paying for it, you talking about going somewhere, not no road trip type shit? You talking about going somewhere,
Yeah,
What would
you
you
consider
consider
like?
like?
What would you consider like going somewhere?
Getting on the plane.
Yeah, getting on the plane.
Okay, getting on the plane. Okay,
And I'm paying for it?
What's the time limit?
I don't gotta know your year and a half. 2 years, man, depending on how far we fly.
Come on, you want?
If we got to go somewhere with Southwest ain't going,
No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean
Shit.
like that.
No.
Say y'all going down to Florida, Jamaica, or maybe y'all
that ain't no vacation, man. That's local.
Okay, so what would you consider a vacation?
I call it.
Somewhere exotic,
Like,
Jamaica, you know what
okay.
I'm saying, DR,
I said
New Orleans,
Jamaica.
you know what I'm saying, Virgin Islands, something like that. I ain't talking about anywhere in the United States.
I said Jamaica.
Yeah, a year and a half, yeah, at least. And I had to be smacking that on the right of.
Well, maybe you're not smacking until you get there.
So
Maybe that's the deal.
Okay,
I don't take chances like
let me
that.
ask you a question. Suppose this person that you're with now says, "Hey, I want to go to Jamaica in September." What would you say? Don't look and see if they on there. That's terrible.
I would say yeah because I've known her for 3 years.
No, but y'all wasn't
We wasn't together, but I've known her for 3 years. And I'm smacking that on the regular. I'm not taking you on no vacation for a chance to get some snatch. Nah,
Why not?
hell to the no.
Why did booty gotta be attached to the
Booty
bed?
gotta be attached to
Yo,
everything.
because I'm not sleeping in the same bed with you for a week and not get none.
Well, maybe you don't get it until you
No.
get there.
No, I
Then
don't
what's wrong with
want to.
that?
I don't want to take that chance.
Well, what if you
I
don't
don't want to
get
take that chance with my money.
With your money.
With my money.
Oh,
Why can't we take that on
so
your dime?
this is a high class.
Why can't we take that chance on your dime? Why we
This is a
gotta take that
high
chance
class
on my
I
dime?
actually
type
had
of prostitution trip.
I actually
Huh?
had this conversation. I actually had
It
this
ain't a high
conversation
class
with somebody.
prostitution trip.
With somebody that I was seeing.
Okay.
And
And
he told you the truth. I ain't taking you to you. It's mad.
That's what he said to you sometimes.
Yeah.
no, that ain't what he
Yeah, that's what he said in so many words.
That's what he said.
No.
If you ain't giving up, I ain't getting that ticket.
No, we just started to talk about, going on vacation and expectations and kind of like what P said, guys had an expectation.
Yeah,
of
that's
before
an
we go.
expectation, yeah.
I don't know, but why can't it be a big surprise?
Nope.
Why can't
I
it
don't
be?
like surprise.
You kind of already know what it's gonna be.
You already know you getting the booty. You taking somebody somewhere like that. Come on now.
You afraid that you're not gonna have fun, that you're not gonna like
It ain't
it.
no.
So
You talking about a vacation. We can go to Ocean City and have fun. You talking about a vacation. That's we going somewhere and have fun and lay up. That's a vacation. Y'all gotta understand what vacation is.
You can do that in Ocean City.
No.
You can lay out in Ocean City.
Yeah, but you don't mind going to Ocean City, you can drive there. It's cheaper.
Not the funky side.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper than Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Y'all better reevaluate what vacation means.
Okay.
That means, babe, that butt is mine
Oh.
for the week. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But so what happens when you come back home from vacation?
Vacation over, shit.
Oh, what? So you can take all money to go away just to have sex?
Nah, what? That's why I said for me, I gotta know you for a while, and I'm already hitting that, so I wouldn't mind. We already we're in a relationship. First of all, I'm not taking nobody on a vacation that I'm not in a relationship with.
Why not?
Because you ain't my bae.
You can still go on vacation.
Well,
with
that's
them.
why not.
You can
Vacation.
still go on vacation
Keyword
with them if
bae.
you're not in a relationship.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
You got
know.
to
I mean,
be-
you can. You
You
can.
You got to be bae
No,
in
you
order to
can't.
go
You
on
can't.
vacation. You can't be just a friend. No.
Yes, you can.
No. That's wrong.
Why
It's not
wrong?
called a vacation then.
What's it called?
Y'all going out of town.
Y'all going
And
on a
then
trip.
you don't take them type of people to Jamaica. Why would you want to spend that much money on just somebody you casually
Well,
date?
that's when everybody pay
Who
their
got
own
that
way.
kind of money?
Well, that's when everybody pay their own way. And if you get it,
Yeah.
you get it.
Well,
you get it.
Well, you asked me.
We want to
though,
thank
you must be
everybody on Facebook for watching. Thank everybody on YouTube for watching. Like, share. Join us next week at 9 o'clock again for Between Friends. We're going to holler at y'all later.
Peace, y'all. Like, why you confused, cousin? Why you say boo?
Some vacation day.
Why you say boo? But yeah, that is what it is, cousin. High class.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and
All right,
a side
y'all.
chick.
Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.
All right, y'all. Next time. Great vacation night. Side check trips and vacation. Side check vacations.
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, side